Do you have what it takes to have the power to pivot in this very shifting life that we're living in? Hi, this is Mariella from E-Cono-Me, mastering life and business for a better you and a better me. The subject we have today is a very important subject because we are living in very shifting worlds. But before I dive right deep into that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for showing up for my live events. Those of you Lady Bosses on Fire who are my private Facebook group. If there are women out there who want to join this absolutely empowering Facebook group, please find the link below and get yourself invited, because we are there to endorse you, we are there to stimulate you, we are there to give you the possibilities and the powers so that you can become much better at whatever it is you're doing. If you're a guy, please stay with us here on YouTube channel, because this is meant to empower anyone who's starting out with his business, anyone who is growing his business, and anyone who just is interested in growing his mindset so that he can do a much better job of life. So the subject that we're going to be talking about today is, we've been hearing quite a lot about it, because it's true, we are really living in a very, very shifting world. And the media is absolutely full of this phrase. Wherever we turn our faces, we're going to be told that these are shifting times and we need to pivot. If you're a boxer, you'll know what I'm talking about, because if you don't pivot from one foot to another, you're going to be hit with the next blow. And I suppose the power to pivot is absolutely what we need at the moment when life is shifting so much. So, how are we going to stay fluid in order to pivot? I choose the word fluid rather than flexible for a purpose, because I think flexibility has a breaking point. Whereas if you're fluid, you are going to be a lot more adaptable. And I like the word adaptable because we need to adapt to this very changing world that we are living in, and we need to be able to, duck the punches and throw out a few punches ourselves. So how are we going, to throw the punches? How are we going to gain the energy in order to be able to find this power to pivot at these difficult times? And the power to pivot is, for women, it's something that they learn, growing up, growing into maturity. Your body changes. Even guys, body changes. If you're pregnant, you see massive change in it's gradual at first, but then it becomes really massive. You pivot even the way you sleep so that you don't hurt your child and you can sleep better. And the child is born, and then male, female, both, they have to pivot on their time. They have to pivot in the way that they react, that they allocate their time, that they allocate their priorities, because their priorities change. They change quick. They change, boom, in 24 hours. A new life, a new way of seeing things, a new disrupted sleep, a new way to prioritize whatever it is you're doing in life. And families juggle. They juggle with their time, they juggle with their attention, they juggle with everything it is that they need to do. Those of you who have a child know exactly what I'm talking about. So you become an expert of pivoting. But how do you get the power to pivot? The first important thing you need to have the power to pivot is energy and enthusiasm. And how do you build energy so that you find it when you need it most, so that you can keep pushing forward even when you're feeling defeated? Imagine our body and our mind being like a power plant. A power plant needs a source of energy, right? And when you put in that source of energy, it could be coal, it could be oil, it could be gas, it could be something cleaner than that. But whatever it is, You need to put in energy so that it can translate it into fuel. And then the fuel is what in turn you will use in order to have the energy of electricity, of your computers being on, of water being running from a tap. The stuff we take for granted actually has a process. And the way we live is exactly the same. Imagine our mind and our body to be this power plant, and we are going to need to feed it energy. What is the energy that we need to feed our body in order to have this massive strength to move forward, to duck on the punches, to give punches back, and to have the enthusiasm to be present and there even when life is really taking and sucking the energy out of you? The first thing, which is the biggest energy killer or fuel, is your focus. This is really important. If you're going to focus on what 2020 and COVID has taken away from you, you're only going to create absolutely negative energy. If you're going to focus on how many people got sick, on how many lives have been devastated, on all, if you've lost a job, if your hours have been reduced, that is going to really, really pull you down. If you focus on what has been taken away from you, if you focus on how unfairly you've been treated, if you focus on, some of the bad stuff that's happened in your past, then the focus is going to take advantage of you. And I know it's not nice. These bad stuff that happens to you, happens to me, happens to everyone. But if we're going to focus on negative energy, what we're going to have in our life is going to be negativity. If instead you're going to focus on creating positive energy, this energy is going to give you the reserve that your motor needs to keep pushing forward. And this is an absolute fact. So you have to remove the negativity of your focus. Wherever your focus is really moving towards negativity, you need to just really tell yourself with discipline, let me look at the better things in my life. Let me see gratitude. Let me see what it is that I am so grateful for that is happening in my life, that I actually have the power to, instead of taking it for granted, like the stuff that we take for granted by simply putting on the light or putting on the tap and we have running water, that is already a lot to not be taking for granted. And this is a lot is happening in our life. Little things. If you wake up and you're healthy, if your family is in good health, if you still have the possibility, and you do, of being creative and maximizing on whatever it is that you're earning at the moment, and you can provide for your family, these are the little things that make us grateful to be alive and to be able to perform. So this is how we channel energy into our mental engine. Shift our focus from the negative to gratitude. It so works. It's so important. The second one is how to fuel your energy, and that is your vision. What it is in your compelling future that you need to have. So what is your game plan? What is what you dream about? What is it that you really wish for in your life so that you can set the goals to achieve? If you know where you are at the moment, even if it's not a great place, but you just embrace where you are at the moment and you know where you want to go, you will find your vision. And it is the vision that needs to be your compelling future. This is so important. So we need to start at that compelling future and use the compelling future like a lighthouse with a beacon light. And even if at the moment there's a lot of fog going on around us, it's a metaphoric way, if we hold that beacon light ahead of us, we will at least be able to know that this is where we have to navigate in order to get our ship home. But if we don't have that light, it's like driving a car without a GPS. We have no destination, we don't know which roads to take, we don't know where we're going, and we are just in the process of moving. So that beacon light is really important. Everything else is going to try to distract you. Everything is going that can go wrong will go wrong at the moment. That you can rest assured. Everything that will distract you will keep your vision of your compelling future not shining anymore. You will not see the beacon light of your lighthouse, but you need to know what that beacon light represents in your life. If we get lost, we lose absolutely 100% all our energy. If we keep looking back at things that went wrong in our life, the past becomes our focus. Whereas if we look forward to a better future, we shift our focus from the negative to the positive. And this ties up with what I just told you a little bit earlier. The next important thing, and this is a very important point, is remember, it's temporary. COVID is temporary and it will eventually go away. Just like every frosty winter, there will be a spring where you will see the buds growing again. It may not feel like that at the moment, but rest assured, history has given us the best proof of this. Remember financial crisis in 2008? It was totally devastating. Those who panicked lost everything. Those who cashed in their losses lost everything. People were losing even their lives in desperation. People, bought a property, just to explain it to you, for 100K on a 20K equity. So they put in a deposit of 20%, 20K. I'm just, feeding numbers of examples. And their property, they bought a property of 100, took a loan, a mortgage for 80,000, and that property was suddenly worth 50. All the work that they had put into and the energy that they had put into buying their security, buying their home, 20,000 worth of energy generated to put in your home. You take your equity, and then you take a loan, a mortgage of 80,000, and suddenly, if you had to sell your property, it wasn't worth more than 50. You wouldn't even have enough to pay your mortgage. This was what we lived in 2008. Those of you who are watching and remembering it. What happened after that? Just 2 years down the line, economy started picking up again, and we went on to live the next 10 years, the next 10 best years, possibly, of economic explosion. And whoever sat on his property, didn't cash in on his losses, actually was sitting on property that was going to be worth a lot more eventually than if they had just despaired and cashed in and didn't renegotiate their mortgages and with whatever it is that they could pay and make. So tell yourself 10 times, 20 times, as many times as you need, this is temporary. Don't sit on the couch and wait for change to happen, but go and use the fuel from our previous points to take action and exhaust every possible angle that you will have in order to move forward. Remember, one of my mentors, as Tony Robbins says, life happens for us, not to us. We have to watch, finally, the words we use. The words we use are what really dictate our future. If you keep using words like, it's really tough, these are crazy times, I'm stressed, I'm angst, I'm afraid of the future, I really want to give up. If you use those words, how can you expect to fuel your power plant? It won't work. When you use those words, you're literally putting like a blanket over a fire. You kill, you starve the plant of your energy. And worse, it's like, I did this once, and believe me, it wasn't fun. I put petrol instead of diesel in my motor. I choked it up. I just blocked it completely because I put in the wrong fuel in my engine. I had to, flush it out, bleed it, clean it up. I can't tell you, and this came from being distracted. This was a moment where I was trying, to cope with too much, multitask, do things that I wasn't supposed to be doing at the same time. So make sure that you're focused in the right place. Make sure you have the right energy. Make sure that you put the right words, really, really important, to whatever it is that you are focusing on. And finally, and this is so, so good, make sure that you actually tell yourself and believe that this is temporary. Now, as a practical way of finishing this off on how can we practically get the power and the energy in order to give ourselves the fuel in order to move forward, we are going to reverse engineer something that's really important. And that is, if we know where we are and we know where we want to go, we are going to have to ask ourselves, what is it that we actually want from where we want to go? Now, in order, a lot of people tell me, I've lost my vision. I've lost my vision of where it is that I want to go because everything looks so bleak. So in order to find out where it is that you would like to go, you have to keep one very important thing in your head. Imagine yourself. If it were the best year of your life instead of the worst year of your life, if this were to be the best year of your life, where would you be at the end of 2021? We're, heading in the last quarter and we have a year ahead. Where is it that you would like to find yourself? Imagine. I know where I would like to be. I would like to build my subscribers to 1,000, to 2,000, to 7,000, to 10,000, because I have enthusiasm and experience to share, which I know a lot of people will find value from. What is it that you would like to do to arrive where it is that your ultimate destination is going to be? Stop and think about that, even if you have to stop this video. And think, where is it that I would really like to go, so that you can create this beacon of light that we have been talking about. Once you find that out, you're going to have to attach an emotion to it. Now, this is really, really difficult. And this is an exercise that I have done with my own mentors in order to find out why is it that I want to do what I want to do. So when I was asked, why is it that you are, so driven? Why is it that you want to remain one of the top entrepreneurs on your island, Women on Top? I was the winner of Women on Top for several years in business. I've grown my business from nothing, from zero. I lived in a family with very, very humble resources, and I grew 7-figure businesses in 6-7 businesses, all different businesses. I have a retail company that sells furniture, which I created the designs for originally, and which is now being taken care of by the rest of my family. I have a hotel business. I have rental properties. I actually have construction companies. And, these are the most unlikely things for women where I come from to do. So why did I find this need to create these things? And this is what my mentor was asking. He was asking, but why did you want to do that? And I said, very, very easily, I wanted to create, a situation where I would have financial freedom. And he said, yes, that's good, but it's not really good enough. You would have done a good job in being employed where I was originally at the bank, and you would have become a manager, and you would have had financial freedom. You wanted more. Why did you want more? When he started, really hitting me with the same question over and over and over, I said, because honestly, I wouldn't like to go back to how I was. I remember parents who worked between them 5 jobs to make sure that I am the eldest of 3 girls, we would get good education. And I always worry. I'm the eldest, as I said, of 3, and I remember them, towards the end of the month, planning how they're going to budget what the very little that was left until, they would get paid the next salary. And I know that I did not want to be in a situation where I would go back to that. I didn't want to have to think at the end of the month if I'm going to have enough money to put on the table. So it was not just about the quantum of the money. I did not want the stress of, going back to my childhood where everything was a worry and a responsibility. Then again, my tutor, my mentor, kept digging at me, and he said, but why don't you want to go back? Why is it, that you really want to be able to have this financial independence, able to not to have to worry? And, the funny thing is that I realized that I wanted to be in control of my life. I really wanted to be in control of my life for as far as possible, to be able to make the decisions without having to consult with anyone. And that is why I wanted to become an entrepreneur. That is why I wanted to have the financial freedom to make the decisions. I did not want to consult with someone. In fact, I've never done partnerships. I did not ever want to consult with someone on a decision I made, because I was always prepared to take full responsibility of the decisions I made for myself. Now, that doesn't mean that it's right for you. You could really do very well by doing partnerships, but it wasn't right for me because I felt I really needed to have control over the decisions I make for my business and my life. You need to attach an emotion for what it is that you are doing, for what it is that you want to arrive to. You are here. So we've established where we are. We've established where we want to go. Now we have to establish why we want to go there. If you don't attach a strong emotion to where it is that you want to go, you will not have the energy to go there. Your why to go there has to be so strong that you will break walls, you will climb walls, you will do whatever it is. If your why is because you want to give your children a choice, then your why is going to be strong enough that in the face of all the hurdles that we come across, you are going to be consistent in your ability to take yourself from where it is you are to where you want to go. And the very last thing in this, and I will close with this, is just one last thing. How is it that you're going to get there? And that is the skills you need to go from where you are to where you want to go. And this is what we consistently discuss in these videos, and as well in the tuition and in the masterclass we give, the masterclass I give on how, the practical how of going from where it is that you are to where it is that you want to go, the skills that you need to develop to make yourself the best of yourself, the best of the entrepreneur you want to be, the best mother you want to be, the best father you want to be, the best relationship you would like to have. These are the practical skills you need, which you can learn and give yourself. I really hope you've enjoyed this session. And before I go, if you please hit that subscribe button, it means that you will get a lot more of this if you've enjoyed it. If you want the practical how, please join. If you're a Lady Boss on Fire, please join the closed group Lady Boss on Fire. Invite your powerful women to join. And if you're a guy, hang on in there. We are going to be coming back every week, if not more often, to help you reach visibility of improving your life. This is why E-Cono-Me. It's mastering business and life for a better you and a better me. Until next time.